Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of What Just Happened. On today's episode, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. If you've been watching these, then you probably know how these go. Let's start with some score recaps. Starting off with Wednesday, UCF beat SMU 41-19. Friday did have 4 games. Nebraska ended up beating Rutgers 14-13. Houston beat Memphis 33-32. Colorado State, Nevada 17-14. San Jose State 40, UNLV 7. Moving on to Saturday's big day, we had Louisville beat Virginia 34-17. Mississippi State beat Arkansas 40-17. Florida in a tie win with Missouri 24-17. But let's get to one of the biggest games that started the day, Tennessee at LSU. Let's start with Tennessee stats. Hendon Hooker, 17 of 27, 239, 2 touchdowns. Jabari Small, 22 carries, 127 yards, 5.8 average, 2 touchdowns. Brew McCoy, 7 receptions, 140 yards, averaging 20 yards a reception. Insane. LSU, Jaden Daniels, 32 of 45, 300 yards, a touchdown and interception. They couldn't run the ball. Jaden Daniels was their leading rusher with 16 carries for 38 yards, a 2.4 average. Malik Neighbors, 6 receptions for 80 yards. Kayshon Boutte, 6 receptions for 33 yards and a touchdown. Team stats. Tennessee 502 to LSU's 355. 239 passing to 300 LSU's. 263 rushing to LSU's 55. 6.5 yards per play for Tennessee, 4.9 for LSU. Then when you get deeper into the stats, first downs 27-24, 7 of 16, 7 of 15, third down efficiency, fourth down efficiency, 3 of 3 for Tennessee, and then 0 of 3 for LSU. Total plays 77, 73 LSU, punts 2 to LSU's 4. Penalties 12 for 107 for Tennessee. Time of possession 30, 29. This game was never really close. After the first, it was 13-0. Heading into the half, it was 23-7. Into the fourth, it was 37-7. I know Brian Kelly's in his first year at LSU, but he left Notre Dame to go play these games. He's got to put up more than 13 points, especially at home. That's ridiculous. Brian Kelly's a really good coach, but one of the biggest knocks on him is he can't win big games. Instead, he put the blame on Notre Dame and said he had to recruit down a different aisle. Well, he has the talent now, still the same result. And from the looks of it, they don't have a recruiting problem or a big game problem. It's a Brian Kelly problem. What a great dominating win for Tennessee. I kind of mentioned it either last episode or 2 episodes ago, but this Tennessee team is legit. They're nice. TCU Kansas in a tight one, 38-31. Kansas had their quarterback go down in the second, but the backup came in and played well enough to keep it competitive. Texas Oklahoma 49-0. Usually this game is a little bit more competitive. This time, defense for Oklahoma, they're gone. They took a vacation early. They'll see you next year. Texas bullying Oklahoma. I kind of saw this coming, especially with the Quinn Ewers return. Texas offense looks completely different with him in it. I like their offense with him in it. Michigan beat Indiana 31-10. Purdue in a tight one with Maryland. I watched this Purdue game, and Christian believes that Purdue has a pretty good shot at the conference championship game. And if you look at the remaining schedule, I mean, they have a shot. They got Nebraska, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Northwestern, and then Indiana. All those games, especially this year, are winnable. I will say Wisconsin and Illinois look to be the toughest games left, but if you're Purdue, those offenses don't scare you. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, so we'll keep an eye on it. Wisconsin beating Northwestern 42-7. Jim Leonard, interim head coach, getting his first win. I've heard and read great things about Jim Leonard, so hopefully that works out there. Oklahoma State in a tight one with Texas Tech, 41-31. Georgia looks back on track, 42-10 against Auburn. And honestly, I watched this game from start to finish, and I enjoyed it all the way through. Utah at UCLA. Utah and UCLA are the 2 best teams in the Pac-12. And honestly, if that game's played at Utah, I think Utah wins it. If you look at the individual stats, Cameron Rising, 23 of 32, 287, an interception. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 18 of 23, 299, 4 touchdowns, an interception. But when you look at the team stats, down the middle essentially, 502 for UCLA total yards, 479 for Utah, 287 passing yards, 299. 192 rushing yards, 203. Yards per play of 8.2, 6.2 for Utah. First downs, Utah had 31 to 21 to UCLA's 21. Third down efficiency, 5 of 9, 7 of 13. Total play, 77-61. Punts, 2 apiece. Penalties, 4, 10. Time of possession, Utah had the ball for 33 minutes, 34 minutes, 33, 51. UCLA had it for 26 minutes. Listen, this UCLA team is nice. I like their offensive line, defensive lines. Quarterback, I love. Running back, Zach Charbonnet is a beast. Also tight end, Jake Bobo, he's a dude. Utah has USC this weekend, and that one probably doesn't end well for USC. UCLA has Oregon this week. That one could be tight. Arizona State upset Washington 45-38. Washington overrated. Ohio State ran through Michigan State 49-20. North Carolina beat Miami 27-24. UConn getting a big win against FIU 33-12. Kentucky got beat by South Carolina 24-14. I know Will Levis didn't play, but still not a good look. Kansas State continues to win games 10-9 against Iowa State. USC Washington 30-14. Washington State kept it close a little. USC eventually pulled away. Illinois, Iowa, Big Ten game, 9-6. Clemson smashing Boston College, 31-3. Notre Dame dominating BYU for most of the game, 28-20. Alabama in a tie one with A&M. A&M with that awful last play. That pass interference was pass interference to set it up. But man, you have the #1 team on the ropes and that's the play that you call? That was bad. NC State, Florida State in a tie one, 19-17. NC State lost their quarterback, had to win it on field goals, and Oregon rolls through Arizona, 49-22. Now, here are some of my takeaways from week 6. Tennessee, Michigan, and UCLA. All 3 of them are for real. All 3 have big tests this week. Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, and UCLA, Oregon. We'll find out a lot after this week. Another one of my takeaways is Notre Dame, fluky start. 3 straight wins since then, and if you look at the remaining schedule, Clemson, USC, winnable. Clemson hasn't seen a defense as good as Notre Dame's. That Clemson matchup is gonna be tight, but it's at home for Notre Dame, it's winnable. Then they finish the season with USC. You've seen that defense. Watch what Utah does to that defense on the ground. Notre Dame's gonna do the same. But looking ahead to this weekend, Thursday, you have a matchup with Baylor at West Virginia. Then Saturday, you have Penn State at Michigan, NC State at Syracuse, Oklahoma State at TCU, Alabama at Tennessee, Mississippi State at Kentucky, Clemson at Florida State, and USC at Utah. So that's gonna wrap it up for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out the TikTok, Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube. I'll see y'all next week.